Hello, everyone, distinguished colleagues. I would like to give you my thanks for the opportunity to speak to you in this virtual conference. Thank you for having me. Today, I would like to delve into a topic of utmost importance, the significance of social places in the socializing process and the implication of their evolution in the digital age, particularly for youths. I invite you to join with me through an exploration of places that hold immense societal value: bars, pubs, restaurants, chicherias, and cafes where human connections are forged and friendships are nurtured. These social places have not only witnessed the evolution of our society, but have also played an integral role in shaping its very fabric. As an environmental psychologist and professor, I have dedicated my career to understanding the profound impact of physical and social environments on human behavior. Through my research, I have observed a concerning trend. Youths who once thrived within the vibrant embrace of social places are not being marginalized, compelled to seek solace in the digital realm. This transition, while intriguing, raises important questions about the consequences of such shifts for the socializing process and our collective well-being. Through my research, I have observed a concerning trend. Youths who once thrived within the vibrant embrace of social places are now being marginalized, compelled to seek solace in the digital realm. This transition, while intriguing, raises important questions about the consequences of such shifts for the socializing process and our collective well-being. Therefore, I encourage all social scientists present here today to join me in this topic of research. Let us explore the multifaceted dimensions of social places, their historical evolution, and the implications of this transformation for our youths. By understanding the intricate interplay between physical and social environments, we can uncover insights that will help us foster inclusivity and preserve the essence of a democratic society. It is with great concern that I have observed a shifting paradigm where our youths, seeking social fulfillment, have increasingly turned to the vast expanse of the cyberspace, inadvertently being relegated from the richness of social places. This topic holds immense relevance not only for social scientists, but for all those passionate about nurturing an inclusive and democratic society. By unraveling the complexities surrounding social places, we can shed light on the socializing process and the integral role physical and social environments play in shaping our collective experiences. Together, let us embark on a journey of knowledge as we delve into the intricacies of social places and their vital role in the socializing process. I look forward to sharing my research and learning from your diverse perspectives and disciplines. In this virtual conference, we have the unique opportunity to bridge geographical distances and engage in an intellectual exchange that transcends borders. I am excited to go on this journey of knowledge with all of you and look forward to the enriching discussions that lie ahead. For centuries, people have gathered in these places to socialize, relax, and enjoy good food and drink. They serve as a vital social hubs where we can come together as a community, meet new people, and strengthen our connection with others. Throughout history, communities have created and used different types of social spaces, which have taken various forms depending on cultural, geographical, and social contexts. These places have evolved in response to changing social and cultural trends. In ancient Greece, for example, the symposium was a gathering of men for drinking, philosophical discussions, and entertainment. The Lege was a place for conversation between intellectuals. In the Middle Ages, taverns and pubs were important meeting places for travelers, merchants, and locals alike. In the 18th and 19th centuries, coffee houses emerged as popular gathering places for intellectuals, artists, and writers who would come together to discuss politics, literature, and culture. The emergence of coffee houses in the 17th century marked a significant development in social practices in Europe, while also serving as settings for the genesis of important changes in political and the arts, shaping the usage patterns of this type of place. Coffee houses became popular in Europe and the Middle East, serving as venues for intellectual discussions, socializing, and cultural exchange. They played a crucial role in shaping public discourse and fostering the development of ideas during the Enlightenment period. As we will see, they have been important settings for politics, poetry, and other artistic creations. In addition to providing opportunities for socialization, these social spaces have also contributed to the transmission of cultural knowledge, values, and practices. For example, taverns have served as settings for the performances of traditional folk music, of storytelling, while restaurants have facilitated the diffusion of culinary traditions and practices. In the 20th century, however, the rise of the restaurant industry and the proliferation of fast food chains transformed the way we eat and socialize. Nevertheless, today, bars, pubs, restaurants, chicherias, picanterias, tea houses, and cafes continue to play an important role in our social lives. They provide spaces for many people to celebrate special occasions, to unwind after work, and to connect with others over shared interests and experiences. These kinds of places are essential for socializing and building community. However, younger people, seniors, and those who are poor may be excluded from this social process as they don't have enough money to consume in these places. Ray Oldenburg, who passed away last year at age 90, kindly wrote the prologue of my book, Socioplaces, which expands his idea of the third place, focusing on a psychological perspective rather than the sociological as Oldenburg did in his book, The Third Place. Socioplaces encompass a distinct psychological experience that arises from the interactions among a group of individuals, who occasionally strangers, who gather with the common purpose of socializing. These places involve the adoption of specific roles, adherence to rules, depending on the type of social place, with the mediation of the physical environment, including architectural style and elements such as music, smells, decoration, and lighting, which creates a sensorial experience particular for every social place. So, social places are important as learning environments for learning how to live in community, where people engage in conversations with strangers, learn to dance, sing, or play, learn how to interact with others, follow courtesy and etiquette rules, develop hygiene habits, follow fashion trends, make friendships, and assume the roles assigned to different actors within each place, and contribute to create a sensorial and phenomenological experience, giving meaning to the place. In this way, a social place acquires meaning as a learning experience by bringing together a group of individuals with the common purpose of socializing. These kind of social abilities are not learned in the cyberspace. Socioplaces are fundamental for the psychological need to socialize, particularly for youths. However, in this sector of the population have limitation to enter to socioplaces for economic reasons. The restriction of youths to this kind of behavioral settings affect their socializing process. In the past, children and youths used the streets to socialize, but unfortunately, the destruction of public space as a setting for socialization took the children and youths off the streets. This process began in earnest by the 1960s and has been most fully pursued in the United States, although irradiated to many cities in the world. It is manifest in high-rise structures, automobile dependency, urban sprawl, the cloning of retail chains, the proliferation of shopping malls, single-use zoning, one-way street, and excluding the people from the sidewalks and streets and plazas and expel them to malls and private spaces. Yet, many cities in other countries have already adopted several of the aforementioned features, with the resulting loss of urban vitality, resident satisfaction, and restricting poor people and youths from the socializing process. The vehicles, the insulating character of air conditioners, and the ability to transcend local sites through telecommunications offer option symphony life from public spaces. We are witnessing the fall of the public space as a place for social encounters. There is instead the shopping mall, which is not a public place at all. The malls are home to the corporate chains which siphon money out of a community and which add nothing to local culture. When you are in one, you could be anywhere, which means that socially and culturally you are nowhere. It was the local independent places, a business which the mall forced out, which lent local color and the settings for an informal public life. I'm now moving to explore how virtual space are used by youths. There is a significant body of literature growing around virtual, online, digital communities, particularly in the youngest. This literature stresses the connection of the youngest in a digital social net transcending physically of their environment. The physical social encounters are now replaced by ubiquitous pervasive computing, mobile, wireless connectivity, which means that socialization became digital for the youth population. The social life of the socioplaces now competes with media technology that shifts interaction inward, away from less predictable public contacts. The social encounter between youths is being reformulated by technologies that permit communication through connection rather than through traditional face-to-face contact. The public character of social places and the capacity for fostering social cohesion is challenged when public interaction is transformed and or shifted into disembodied private space by mobile technologies. Using communication technology, youths insulate and isolate themselves by controlling connection and exposure. Mobile technology is changing the relationship of public and private. William White said, "What attracts people most, it would appear, is another people. But what if those people hide behind media walls? They have long erected media walls. Mobile technology and Wi-Fi internet access are creating new media walls." In the cyberspace reader, Stephen Graham observed, "Within a short time, mobile communication technologies have transformed the nature of social life due to private electronic interchanges, particularly for youths." Mobile media adjust our perceptions of time and place, and the psychological state or presence or feeling or being in a situation. Georgian described this phenomenon by the term absent presence. Mobile phones provide the quintessential medium encouraging absent presence as one moves through the urban environment. As mentioned before, rituals of public behavior in social places include the tacit acknowledgement of others, written notes, handshakes, and kisses. These are the fatigue elements that serve to facilitate potential meaningful interaction. In today's world, such rituals conflict with competing rituals of mediated behavior. The youth, increasingly detached from physical public space, enjoy choice and control, living in a variety of distant interest-based communities. The detached youth reside in a place of their choosing, but in a variety of distant communities which in turn reshape their physical space in paradoxical ways. We could argue that the mobile telephone, for example, increases the number of people who psychologically can inhabit a space, but also decreases the number of people who can effectively communicate in that same space without creating noise. Thus, 10 individuals speaking to someone else on a cell phone are different from 10 people speaking to each other in the same room. If one were to design a room for mixed use, mobile and non-mobile phone users, would the design space be the same? There is a new kind of interaction of people who are wired displacing a social place interaction. Now, I would like to speak about what is known as the idiot generation. Agustin Laje described the new generation as idiots. To Laje, in the world created with technologies for youths, the real competes with the virtual and ends up hybridizing. The metaverse is proposed as the abandonment of real life to submit oneself to a fully virtualized space to work, fall in love, study, and have fun. Reality appears boring because in adolescent society, everything must be fun. For instance, in the game, hope you remember Second Life, people were encouraged to live another life through an avatar. These new young people are invited to make their lives visible through new technologies, in which even play with their identity. The digitized self becomes more a representation, which impoverishes the individual. This way, life becomes false when social media profiles do not represent a real person, but instead construct an identity. The lives of young people become a farce. Social places reduce stress and warmness to our fellow human beings. An hour spent alone in a car fighting traffic does neither. The livable city fosters community, but this contention requires careful specification because the word community has been so carelessly tossed about. Social places are the heart of a community's social vitality and the foundation of a functioning democracy, agree with Oldenburg. Real community has been defined by biologists, and it consists of an interacting group of organisms which share an environment. In the case of human beings, there is not only interaction, but interdependence community. Community is small and palpable, and its members have a substantial measure of control over its growth. It's a small and comfortable world in which people know one another, maintain their marriages, raise their children, and find most of their daily needs met within walking distance. Many analysts have chosen to reject the territorial dimension of community, but all of its non-material benefits derive from its geographic routing. Real community, including youth and elderly people, need social places and should be nearby and visited frequently. Life with real communities is generally satisfying, and that is why retail corporations hate it. Satisfied people make poor consumers. When corporations wield enough influence to shape urban development, real community ceases to exist. It's time for small neighborhoods and social places for the poor and youths. Low-rise buildings, shop houses, winding streets, expanded trolley systems, park development, bicycle trails, and increased citizen involvement in urban planning. Also, preoccupying remedial planning is the lack of those places in which citizens may regularly gather to talk, to argue, to laugh, and to enjoy the company of friends and acquaintances. It's essential to recognize the importance of social places as spaces for socialization and community. Society must work on preserving and creating these places, ensuring accessibility and inclusion for all individuals regardless of their social status or age group. Additionally, innovative ways of harnessing technology should be explored without losing sight of the need of real human interaction. Only then we can build a more equitable society and strengthen social bonds for the benefits of all. In conclusion, we have seen in recent times the privatization of public space, the prevalence of the city planning for the vehicles, the high rise of construction of malls all around the world, the rise of digital communities, and the proliferation of mobile technologies that shift the socialization process for the younger generation. The omnipresence of mobile phones and online connectivity has altered the dynamics of public and private interactions, creating a sense of absent presence and challenging the traditional rituals of social place behavior. The detachment of youths from physical public space and the preference for digital connections have implications for social cohesion and the development of social skills, as you probably know. To preserve the vitality of social places and ensure their accessibility for all, it's crucial to address the erosion of public space and the exclusion of marginalized groups. Urban planning should prioritize the creation of small neighborhoods, social places for all income levels, low-rise buildings, pedestrian-friendly streets, public transportation systems, park and citizen involvement in the planning process. In this digital age, we must strike a balance between the benefits of technology and the irreplaceable value of real human interaction. By recognizing the importance of social places as spaces for socialization and community, and by working towards their preservation and accessibility, we can foster a more inclusive and equitable society. Let's continue our commitment to academic inquiry and the exploration of social places and their impact on the social fabric of our communities. Once again, I express my gratitude for your kind presence and unwavering commitment to academic inquiry. Let's commence the virtual exploration of social places and their impact on the socialization process. We are coming to the end of this conference. If you have any further comments, please don't hesitate to contact me by email. So if you have any comments, you are open to do your comments.
Dear Dr. Caramo, thank you